My boyfriend Jake and I had been planning this trip to rural Montana for months. We're both amateur photographers, and when we saw an ad for an exclusive 3-day wilderness photography workshop in Glacier National Park, it seemed perfect. The workshop promised small groups, professional instruction, and access to remote locations most tourists never see. We drove up from Seattle in Jake's Toyota 4Runner, excited about the adventure ahead. The meeting point was a small town called Cedar Falls, population maybe 300 people. The workshop leader, a guy named Marcus, had told us to meet at the local diner at 6 p.m. sharp. When we arrived, the diner was nearly empty except for an older couple in the corner and a man in his 40s sitting alone at the counter. He turned when we walked in, tall, weathered face, expensive camera equipment spread across the table next to him. "You must be Sarah and Jake," he said, standing to shake our hands. "I'm Marcus. Ready for an unforgettable experience?" We chatted over coffee while waiting for the other participants, but as 6:30, then 7 passed, it became clear no one else was coming. "Happens sometimes," Marcus shrugged. "People cancel last minute. More personal attention for you two." Something felt off, but we'd driven 8 hours and paid the workshop fee up front. Jake and I exchanged glances. We were both thinking the same thing, but neither wanted to be the one to back out. Marcus led us to his beat-up Jeep and explained we'd be camping at a remote location he'd been using for years. No cell service, but that's part of the charm. Pure wilderness experience. The drive took us deeper into the mountains on increasingly narrow dirt roads. After an hour, Marcus pulled into a small clearing surrounded by dense forest. There was a fire pit with logs arranged around it, but no other signs of previous campers. "This is it," Marcus announced. "We'll set up camp here and start shooting at dawn." As we pitched our tent, I noticed Marcus kept checking his phone, though he'd told us there was no service. When I mentioned it, he laughed it off. "Old habits, you know how it is." That night, around the campfire, Marcus told us about his photography career, exhibitions in New York, assignments for National Geographic. But when Jake asked specific questions about his work, Marcus became vague and changed the subject. "Get some rest," he finally said. "We're starting early tomorrow." I was exhausted, but something kept me awake. Around 2 a.m., I heard Marcus moving around outside our tent. Through the thin fabric, I could see his flashlight beam moving back and forth. Jake was sound asleep next to me. In the morning, Marcus was already up, coffee brewing over the fire. "Ready to capture some magic?" he asked, but his smile seemed forced. He led us deeper into the forest, following what he claimed was a game trail. After hiking for over an hour, we reached a scenic overlook with a perfect view of the valley below. "This is the spot. Start shooting. I'll be back in an hour." "Where are you going?" Jake asked. "Scout ahead. Trust me, you want to focus on this view." After Marcus disappeared into the trees, Jake and I set up our cameras. The location was genuinely beautiful, but I couldn't shake my unease. "Jake," I whispered, "doesn't this feel weird to you?" Before he could answer, we heard voices in the distance. Not Marcus's voice, multiple people, and they were getting closer. We crept to the edge of the overlook and saw 3 men in camouflage making their way up the trail below us. They were carrying large backpacks and moving with purpose. "Should be here by now," one of them said. "Marcus said noon. He's never late." Jake grabbed my arm. "We need to go. Now." We packed our gear as quietly as possible and started back the way we came. But without Marcus, the trail looked different. Every tree seemed the same, every path led deeper into wilderness. After an hour of hiking, we heard engines in the distance. Not wanting to risk running into whoever was meeting Marcus, we hid behind a fallen log and waited. 2 ATVs roared past on a trail we hadn't noticed before, heading in the direction of our campsite. The riders wore military-style clothing and had weapons strapped to their vehicles. "This isn't a photography workshop," Jake whispered. "We stumbled into something entirely different." We waited until the engine sounds faded, then made our way back toward where we thought we'd left the car. But when we finally found the clearing, Marcus's Jeep was gone. Our tent was still there, but it had been searched, our belongings scattered around the campsite. With no cell service and no idea where we were, we had to make a choice. Wait for Marcus to return or try to hike out on our own. "He's not coming back for us," I said. "Whatever this is, we weren't supposed to see those people." We grabbed our essential gear and started hiking toward what we hoped was the main road. After 3 hours of walking, we finally heard traffic and emerged onto a paved highway. A local sheriff's deputy picked us up an hour later. When we told him about Marcus and the remote campsite, his expression grew serious. "You're lucky you got out," he said. "We've been tracking illegal activities in that area for months. That man wasn't running a photography workshop. He was using it as cover for something much more dangerous." We never found out exactly what Marcus was involved in, but the deputy told us they'd been investigating reports of drug trafficking and weapon smuggling in the remote areas of the park. Our exclusive photography workshop had been a front, and we'd accidentally stumbled into the middle of an operation that could have gotten us killed. We got our money back from the credit card company, but we never got our innocence back about trusting strangers in remote places. Now when we travel, we stick to established tour companies with verifiable credentials. Some experiences change you forever, and not always in the way you expected when you set out looking for adventure.